Is fear of missing out making us broke? I'm a spender, and it's something that I've struggled with all my life. We each have our own financial journey that starts in childhood and depends on the type of exposure we've had to money, how our parents behaved around money or the lack of, the conversations around it, and how much was shared with us as kids. Our financial health starts when we are children, and the real impact will surface years later. Over the years, most of us learned the hard way that we need to start saving as well. Pretty similar to the US Depression from 1920s, I grew up in Romania in communist times where food was rationed and scarce. So learning self-awareness and improving my relationship with spending when I do have money is not something intuitive, it's a learned process. Quite frankly, when you grow up poor, it takes a psychological toll on you and you don't even notice it till decades later. I don't think I have a normal relationship with money because I tend to gravitate between wanting to spend it because of the fear that I'm missing out, or I switch to guilt remembering what not having anything felt like, and then I stopped spending altogether. This balancing act of back and forth took years to stabilize and to find a mild compromise and spend deliberately. Over many years of analyzing my own spending and those around me, researching it to understand what successful spending looks like and how to master it, I've come to discover just how complex spending is. Now, given the right circumstances, the right emotional state, and the right motivator, I think most of us can make unplanned purchases that go against our values. And so I want to help you better understand your spending habits to take back control over where your money goes. In the age of relentless advertising and social pressures, consumerism has woven itself into the fabric of our daily lives, hasn't it? From billboards to social media, the message is clear. Happiness, success, and fulfillment can be found in the next purchase. Brands tirelessly market their products, creating desires and wants we never knew we had. The constant exposure to these messages creates a culture where possessions are not just items but symbols of identity and status. The allure of consumerism lies in the promise that the next acquisition will bring us closer to the idealized version of ourselves, a version endorsed and celebrated by society. As a result, we find ourselves caught in a perpetual cycle of desire, acquisition, and fleeting satisfaction. The pressure to conform to societal expectations and maintain a certain image drives us to seek solace in possessions, often leading to impulsive and at times obsessive spending. This culture of consumerism not only fosters an environment conducive to obsessive spending, but also perpetuates the misconception that the act of purchasing itself is the ultimate goal. To truly understand why we engage in obsessive spending, we must go beyond the surface and explore the deeper psychological needs that drive these behaviors. So here are a few underlying needs that drive us to spend. One common driver behind obsessive spending is the attempt to fill an emotional void. Loneliness, boredom, or a sense of emptiness can propel us to seek solace in material possessions. The act of buying provides a temporary sense of comfort and distraction from underlying emotional struggles. For some of us, the compulsive need to acquire stems from self-esteem issues. Purchases become a way to boost confidence and self-worth, creating a fleeting sense of validation. The possession of certain items may be perceived as a reflection of personal success or social status. In the face of life's challenges, obsessive spending can serve as a form of escapism. The act of purchasing provides a brief break from stress, anxiety, or other difficult emotions. However, this escape is short-lived, and the cycle of spending often perpetuates the very issues that we are attempting to avoid. Another example I can give you that I noticed from my own habits is planning vacations. I found myself obsessing about escaping from my own life when things got too stressful at work, or not getting along with my manager, or a coworker conflict, perhaps unwanted projects. And sometimes I booked that trip, and other times it became a much bigger getaway that luckily required months of budgeting for, which was a red flag for me. If I couldn't book the original trip, then I would settle for another one until I realized it wasn't about the destination at all. It was about me leaving to go anywhere, to run away emotionally. So it's important to recognize when this happens and dive deep to find the root cause of the misery before you spend. One, because you want to solve the actual problem, not to apply a temporary bandage. And two, because you want to stay away from high-ticket purchases that are not planned ahead. Material possessions are often intertwined with one's identity. We sometimes engage in obsessive spending to craft a specific image or project a desired identity to the outside world. This is why influencers are paid as well as they are, to make us want to mirror them. The pursuit of a particular lifestyle or persona through possessions becomes a way to communicate our perceived value and significance. Keep up with the Joneses, as they say, is a costly thing. We are influenced by our circle of friends without even realizing it. In the era of social media and interconnected lifestyles, the fear of missing out has become a pervasive influence on various aspects of our lives, including personal finance. In this context, fear of missing out refers to the anxiety or apprehension that we might be missing out on rewarding experiences, events, or investments that others are enjoying. This fear can have tangible consequences on personal finance, influencing spending habits and investment decisions, and of course, overall financial well-being. Most often, we don't even realize that we act out of this fear of missing out. These are the short-lived purchases that make you feel guilty as soon as you go to the cashier or swipe or receive the package in the mail. And now I want to share with you a couple of tips on how to navigate the fear of missing out for our own financial well-being. Identify and prioritize personal values and financial goals. Understanding what truly matters to you can help resist the urge to succumb to external pressures. Create a budget that aligns with your financial goals and capabilities. Setting realistic spending limits ensures that you allocate resources intentionally. Before making purchases, evaluate whether they align with your values and contribute to your long-term financial well-being. Here, you want to avoid impulsive spending influenced by fleeting trends. Take a minute and recognize the impact of social media on your perceptions. Limit exposure to content that triggers fear of missing out, and focus on building a financial plan that suits your unique circumstances. Approach investments with a well-informed mindset. Conduct thorough research, seek professional advice, and avoid making investment decisions solely based on fear or the fear of missing out. As intimidating as professionals might sound, the cost of not taking action is much higher down the line. While fear of missing out can exert a powerful influence on personal finance, awareness and intentional decision-making can help us navigate its impact. If you enjoyed this video and want to take my free workshop on deliberate spending, I have it linked below. For more on spending habits, you want to check out my next video. I'll see you there next.